Right.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to my first guest, Sarah.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. I'm honoured to be number one.
Sarah's my good friend. We've been friends for quite a few years, haven't we now?
Yeah.
Randomly.
But we sort of, I was aware of you being in the universe for quite a long time before we became friends. I don't know. Do you remember, way back then?
Well, gosh, we're now 20. Well, I was in my 20s and I worked at HML.
Yeah.
And you went out with somebody, didn't you, who I worked with for a while, basically. So we knew each other quite a long time ago, but we weren't really friends, were we?
No.
And then randomly, I think you booked me for a massage.
Yeah, it was random.
When you were living in Skipton.
Oh, that's
when you were renting in
because
Skipton.
you were recommended by a friend, and
oh yeah,
yeah. So and then you got my life story, I think, that day.
Yeah, I think I did, and we hit it off really, but then there was a bit of a gap, and somehow we got back in touch, didn't we? Again.
Yeah. Was that COVID? Related, I think.
Yeah, it might
because
have been.
it was we didn't have kids, but then we did the next time.
Yeah,
so there was a few years between.
Yeah, so we started having some play dates and stuff, and just like when you just get on really well with people, you just friendships grow from there, don't they?
We're kind of aligned, haven't we? Both of us had sort of changed a bit since our 20s and kind of moved into similar. Yeah,
and we both enjoyed like deep chats. We're calling it real talk, were we?
No nonsense.
Just really
just
interesting.
Get straight to it.
And here we are.
Yeah, so isn't that nice how the universe just set us up?
Definitely. So, Sarah, you've got some interesting stuff going on at the moment, haven't you?
Well, my mum's group still really in its infancy, really, but when I had my children, particularly my first, I felt as if there's quite a lot of baby groups where when you've got a really small baby and you just you very early postpartum and you're just recovering and things, that baby doesn't really do much or need much except for you. So it's more like new mum that needs something. And so I've set up this group, Babies, Boobs and Brains, because I suppose like there's an element of breastfeeding as well, although people who choose not to breastfeed are totally welcome. And the idea was that we try and look after mum a bit and give her what she needs, because tired and recovering physically, that neither of those things are to be taken lightly. But also like all the hormonal stuff, like it really, like my mental health, I really felt... I don't know, maybe I just looked at the world through very different eyes when you've got this little person to look after. And I've always been quite a sensitive person anyway, but my perspective shifted a little bit. So I just maybe more vulnerable, I think, is my experience of stuff. So just being in a place where if you're at home looking after baby all day, you can get out, have some other adult company, but also with other mums who are perhaps experiencing some similar stuff. But to have something to eat and a drink and we do some meditation, so it's not like you have to talk for like a whole hour or you get talked at for a whole hour, like that. Both of those things are not... I can talk like a mad woman. Sometimes you can probably clock that now, but I just feel like it's kind of, you have a nice chat and then you have a little bit of a break and a quiet bit, and then you have another nice chat. And I try to sort of do a bit of research in my preparation for what the session's going to look like, where I might share an article or something that I found in a book or that feels relevant or helpful. And then we have some quick meditations, some affirmations at the end, and a poem quite often. Sometimes I cry when I read the poem because I find them quite moving. But so it's really something that I felt like would have worked for me, but also something that feels great for me to be able to offer to new mums as well. And I've just met some lovely, lovely people as well. So we're still very much in our infancy, the group, but I've got some regular ladies that come with their gorgeous, just girls. We've just got daughters at the moment. We haven't got any baby boys.
Oh, okay. Need to start mixing it up a bit.
Well, I don't know what that's about, because when I had my first, there were all baby boys everywhere.
Oh, really?
And now I've had a daughter, and there's loads of baby girls, so I'm obviously following or setting a trend. I don't know what. But yes, so both genders welcome. Yeah. Gender neutral also welcome. We're very inclusive. So but it's just an absolute joy to run this group. So hopefully it will be something that I do for some time.
Yeah, that sounds so lovely, just to have a welcoming and supportive space for young mums to come to, where people are just kind and genuine. And
we had a lovely lady, Amanda, come in who has Tiny Hands baby massage, and she did a little bit of a taster for us, where just kind of some really like low-key loving touch, I think she calls it. It was so sweet, where you can just have like a new baby and you get like the eye contact and just like really gentle stroking them kind of thing, where it was just really gorgeous for like bonding, but still very in a still really like relaxing kind of surroundings and things. So I definitely want to give her a shout out as well. Thank you for coming and doing your little taster. And she's got sessions that are running now at the moment in Skipton and Hellerfield, I believe. So check those out as well.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it was so nice. She's such a genuine person as well. Like, you just have got that warmth and that kind of where you can just relax and be yourself kind of thing and not worry about it. So it was so very lucky to have her.
Oh, yeah, it's cute.
Yeah.
It just sounds like you've got some really like lovely elements in there as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love a good affirmation and a little cute little poem about life, or just something that brings in that supportive kind of feeling. And
I think it sort of came from how, when I started off my motherhood journey, when my son was born, there's a lot of the ways that things are represented online or on TV and stuff, and kind of what it's like, what babies do and what's normal, and what it's a little bit of because you're vulnerable and because you don't know what you're doing. I think there's a lot of opportunistic selling of items that you don't need, like gadgets that might help sleep or this, that and the other. And I really found that unhelpful, because my baby did not do what a lot of other babies were doing.
No.
And the gadgets were a total waste of money. So I feel like my group is very pared back, and I mean, some people might say a bit boring, but I think like simplicity is what really works for me, and taking it back down to like the very bare bones kind of, without any sort of fuss or drama or narratives about what things should look like. And I think that's just kind of my life at the moment, really. I'm trying to embody what I feel like I've learned from those times in our 20s where I thought I'd figured out what I was aiming at, and actually I wasn't it at all.
No.
And I've rewritten a few things for myself, so a lot of things. So it's kind of come from that, and the amount of kind of sharing of other things that comes up in this group as well, about other things like life, relationships and things. It is a really sort of open, safe space to just be saying whatever you want to express, or if you feel like you need to have a rant or anything like that. That's really what we're there for. So it's like a dream job, really. Like, if I can make this my job, this is kind of what I've always been aiming at without even knowing. So,
well, there you go. All the life experiences and everything you've been through has led you to this point, this creation. Hasn't it?
Yeah, and I suppose that's how we get to the sort of no regrets thing, because without going through certain stuff, you don't get where you are, do you? So
that's it, exactly.
Without being too philosophical.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, so what's your view on the current climate for new mums at the moment and the support that they receive, and because you've got 2 children, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, we had a bit of a rough ride there because so my eldest was 3 months old when we went into lockdown, so it felt quite isolating in some ways, but in other ways, my partner at the time was at home more, so I guess we kind of had that bubble a bit more. So I mean, in some ways that was possibly nicer.
Yeah.
So I guess as a first time mum, that was my only experience then. So so I mean, it wasn't entirely bad, if that's how I'm making it sound. It was like. I mean, rabbit in the headlights doesn't really even touch the surface of how shaken I was by it. I mean, he probably
Was it in the middle of COVID that you had your son then?
So he was 3 months old when we went into lockdown first. So like actually him being born and our experience in the hospital and stuff was not affected by COVID at all, really, because that hadn't started by then. So we were really lucky in that.
Outside that then.
But it was the stuff that came maybe a bit later. Like I felt like recovering from birth was quite difficult. I lost a lot of blood, so we did have a lot of support. We did, the midwives and the health visitor were great, but I did, like, my son had a tongue tie, so we had to sort of navigate that a little bit. Feeding,
because you were breastfeeding.
And it took. Well, after that, it got well established. So, in fact, that saved me in a lot of ways because that was the only thing that made him settle.
The breastfeeding.
Yeah. But then his skin just turned, like, he got such bad eczema, and it turned, like, we kept going to the GPs, and they were like, oh, yeah, it's hard being a new mum, isn't it? And like, oh, it's normal that babies get eczema. Like, would you like some antidepressants? And I was like, that doesn't.
Yeah, you're not listening to me.
No, I really felt fobbed off there. That was horrible, and I still carry quite a lot of rage about that because what we ended up doing, on the advice of a breastfeeding consultant and a friend of mine, was to pay for some private allergy testing, and it turned out he was allergic to dairy, eggs, nuts, carrots, avocados, like just
things you wouldn't think of.
No. So this allergy testing was kind of life-changing, really, and we were very lucky to be able to sort of be in a position to be able to afford that. But once we'd got that information, everything changed because I knew what to, like, I was nervous to wean him without having that information. So once we knew where we were at a bit more, like within a month he was a different baby, like his skin was so much better. So life just started to really improve then, I think. So then fast forward to 4.5 years later, and I'm about to have my daughter, and that was all pretty full on because I ended up with what's it called? Gestational diabetes.
Oh yeah.
So that, like, navigating all that, I feel like it would have been useful to have been tested for that a bit earlier. I'm not really sure why they didn't, but anyway.
When were you tested for that then?
I was probably 30 some weeks, 34 weeks, something like that.
Is that quite late to test? I'm not sure.
Well, they were saying that baby was measuring bigger than was, like, they started saying things that didn't really work for me, like her shoulders might get stuck, or like we might have to start intervening and all this kind of thing, which was like a bit too, we didn't really want to hear that. Like, I'm a bit more kind of like, let's go like day by day, week by week, see what happens, rather than like
not
scaring me with
3 months.
Because baby was looking big, that's why they tested me, and it turned out that I did. But then, like, managing that, like, diet-wise, and then realising that wasn't going to work and I needed the medication, and then my water started to go a bit early as well. So, like, that was all very stressful. But when she was actually born, so I didn't, she arrived by herself anyway, I didn't need any induction or anything, thankfully. But she was early. But so the first 2 weeks feeding was just not happening. She was too sleepy, so she had formula then. But so I felt like you were asking me about support. I do feel like we were quite well supported up until a point of maybe like I did, like just after she was about 2 weeks old, and then she was like, okay, yeah, we can feed now, and then breastfeeding just
It
like
took off then.
yeah. So that was I was really happy about that.
Yeah.
I thought that would be one of the easy bits actually, because I'd fed my son, and then in the hospital I remember feeling a bit smug, thinking, oh yeah, I've got that, I know what I'm doing there, but of course different baby, different pregnancy, like that
different.
doesn't apply. Yeah,
Every baby's different, aren't they? I only have one, but this is what I've been told.
that's so true. Yeah, it's funny, you think you know what you're doing, and then you're like, oh, actually no. But I feel like the help and the support from the health worker just was ended very abruptly, and I don't know if that was because she was my second, so they just think, okay, well, we'll like you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
so,
off you
like,
go.
and I was in a much better physical state because I hadn't lost so much blood. So like I felt almost superhuman afterwards, just because I'd been feeling so rough through nearly the whole pregnancy. As soon as she was born, I was like, oh,
It's a relief.
I can tie my own shoelaces just comfortably. Like, this is amazing. So, yeah, I do feel like perhaps it would be useful to just have a bit more scaffolding around you in those early weeks. But I understand there's just been cutbacks. From what I hear, there's been cutbacks with so many things. But it's such early postpartum is such an important and fragile time.
Definitely.
That it's sort of, where these babies are like the future. So why would we not? And the mums that are raising them
Exactly.
have such an important job to do. So why would we not protect that a bit better?
Exactly.
I don't really understand that.
Yeah. What is it? Is it the first? Is it the first 3 years that set the foundation for the rest of their lives? Is
Yeah.
it? And the first 9 months is in utero.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah.
I believe so. I've read somewhere about the first 1,000 days.
That's it. 1,000 days. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, so the Homestart offer some really great, with different variety of things, and there's one I'm looking at now actually called Mini Movers that I'd like to, now that she's a bit older, I think that would be quite good if you've got a toddler rather than a newborn.
Yeah, so how old's your daughter?
She's 20 months, so yeah, like what a force she is.
Yeah.
Just like stomping
She's
around.
She's awesome, isn't she? So cute.
I think so. But so what I offer that's slightly different, I wanted to, I'm making inquiries about having my group offered through Homestart actually, because what I would love is, that's different about it is that it is a bit more, so because it has those pauses, I think for me, that's what, when I'm sort of having chats with people that I've never met before, or a bit of a new environment or something about it. It's hard to figure out exactly what it is sometimes, where how we have a feeling but we can't always
explain it.
Yeah,
you don't have to though, do you? You just go with what you feel.
No. So I'm just trying to sort of explain like kind of what it felt like for me and why I've set up this group, which is a slightly different dynamic, where you do have those pauses of kind of like the meditation. You can just sort of just sit with your own thoughts for a few minutes and just be quiet, which I find energizing sometimes. And then like something to eat and drink always works for me as well.
Yeah.
Like, some refreshment's very important.
And usually make some sort of cake. Is that right?
Oh, I love to bake. Yeah. Somebody sent me, one of the ladies that comes to the group sent me a message, because I've had quite a bit going on, and she's like, don't ever feel pressure to bake for us. I'm like, but I really want to.
Oh, it's such a nice thing to do though, a bit of homemade cake. It's just, I think, comfort, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know what I like, and I always like to have a bit too, so maybe it's slightly selfish. But it is something that I don't do a lot of variety, but I've got a recipe that I really like that I feel like is really tasty, so I always like to do a variation on that quite often. And And it serves two purposes as well, because when I bake it, I normally do it with, it's got a bit of dairy in, which my son can have in certain ways still. So I like to make it so as that the majority of it goes to the mum's group, but then some of it goes to him, and that reminds his body that dairy is something that's not dangerous to him. He keeps having to, as he grows, it's good for him allergy-wise to keep having a bit of it in his system, which, from what I understand, can prevent him having a stronger reaction if he had it accidentally. So it's useful for that as well. But yes, the homemade cake.
Yes,
recommend
it's
it.
a good one, definitely. I can't go wrong with a bit of homemade cake.
No.
Okay, so in terms of kind of boobs, obviously, is part of the title.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's your experience of like breastfeeding support and that you've had over the years, or have you needed much support?
It's a funny one because I think that it's sold quite heavily. There's a lot of like this breast is best kind of narrative that gets bandied around a little bit. I recently read an article about how there's a Dr. Emily somebody who did some research with the University of Sheffield, and she, in what she writes, she said best for what? Like best for baby's microbiome, perhaps. And breastfeeding is very best. There's so many benefits to breastfeeding, but also like mum's mental health, and there's so many other elements to it.
It's not just the nutrition side of it.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a really complex discussion about the breastfeeding thing. But I did manage to establish breastfeeding both times, and support-wise, it's a funny one because when you're first learning, and because all babies are different, it's something that I expected to come quite easily, and then it didn't, and I was like, what?
It's supposed to be natural, but you don't always know what to do.
Yeah, and it doesn't even feel like that natural, like to sit in the positions that you do, and because new babies, particularly mine who are both early, are so sleepy and floppy. So those early weeks were so hard. And I think they call it triple feeding, where you offer the breast, and then babies have to work quite hard to be able to express the milk. So they don't necessarily get much from that. So then I was pumping and then offering what I'd pumped in a bottle because it's easier for baby to drink that. So that I did for about 2 weeks both times, and it's so tiring.
I've done that as well, and you just feel like it never ends. Yeah.
Like all day, 24 hours. You like that's what's on your mind, and it's very it's completely consuming.
Yeah. So triple feeding. So breastfeeding, expressing via a pump, and then delivering that feed. So it's like three things that just seem to, for me, we just went round and round and round. It's all consuming, and it's really hard work. If anyone's going through that, we understand.
We see you. Yeah, really difficult.
Yeah,
not something that you can sustain for
not for a long period of time. No.
But fortunately, I think we were like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then I don't know if that was to do with like baby just getting stronger and being a bit older, like the muscles start to develop quite quickly, so you can kind of and they know what they're doing as well. Once they've learned what they're doing and they know what they're looking for, then I didn't need to express anymore. So that changed quite quickly, and then I suppose support wise, I did feel supported, but also nobody can tell you exactly what it is that your baby needs. So I did find like myself needing to just try different stuff, different positions, because it needs a bit of figuring out in my experience.
Definitely.
And different people, different midwives and experts sort of tell you different things, and I suppose in the beginning I was like, oh, well, they know what they're doing. So what they're saying must be right. But actually, it doesn't necessarily fit for you what someone else is saying. So we can only ever share our own experience, can't we? If we don't know, then we don't always know that we don't know. You get me?
Exactly. And especially if it's your first time at being a mum, you trust what everyone else says, don't you? Because you don't really know any different unless you possibly got some support around you from people who have breastfed.
Yeah, well, that's actually, it's important. You know? Yeah, you've really hit on something important there. So a friend of mine who had 2 children by then, I think, was really she was very pro breastfeeding, but she kind of said some stuff that just made me... She told me information that she'd learned that nobody else did really, about how, like day 3, 4 is like peak struggle. Like your hormones are just all over the place. Like you're absolutely exhausted. Maybe your milk's come in, maybe it hasn't. But baby, like they do, it's natural for them to lose a bit of weight.
Yeah, in the first couple of days, because they come with... We got told, I did a breastfeeding buddies course, like a lunch box. Was it a lunch box or packed lunch? They come with a packed lunch because they know that in the first few days they're getting the colostrum, and it's quite... Although it's very concentrated, it's a small amount. Yeah. So I think women worry a lot in the first few days that they're still not producing much milk because they're still producing the colostrum. Right. And then after sort of, is it 3 or 4 days... the more liquidy milk comes in, so
your boobs go like rocks.
Yeah,
which is just madness.
When I had my daughter, they weighed her a bit early. So what day were they supposed to weigh them?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if it was a week, but they weighed her early, and then because she dropped a little bit of weight, which they do initially, they thought that she wasn't getting enough. So then they said, oh well, why don't you try some formula? And then that sent me down a path of triple feeding, and it was really, really hard work, and I did eventually get off it, but I can, completely understand it. It's so hard work, and if your mental health is not very good in like the early days and everything, it's completely understandable. And if people don't have support or the proper support and aren't given the right information, how it can just drop off, and then it's not sustainable, and people just move to bottle feeding even if they don't particularly want to, because they have to, because it's too difficult. Well, which is really hard.
I think a thing that she said was about the sort of day 3, day 4, where baby is like screaming because they're hungry. So, I mean, I can absolutely understand why people would give formula at that stage. But she kind of gave me the impression that is, you get over that hump. That's what's telling your body what it needs to do.
Yeah.
And the babies have brown fat, I remember her saying, which is maybe the lunchbox thing. Yeah,
the packed lunch, the extra stores that they're born with.
Yeah. So it's not a nice experience really to see your baby so hungry. No. But at the same time, there's something biological going on there, I think.
Because if you're on the breast a lot of the time, or the whole of the time, then they're stimulating that production.
That's right, yeah. It's amazing how, like, the messages that get sent through baby's body and our bodies and what our brains are doing, and just, it's incredible, like how, the biology and the hormones just tell each other what to do, and the breast milk changes according to what baby needs as well.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Just mad. But it's a rough road.
Yeah, so. Breastfeeding is not easy, and even though it's natural, it's not. Most people don't have an easy time with it, do they? No. And I think people who stop breastfeeding when they don't want to, there's a lot of grief.
Yeah, and like
surrounding that,
the sort of and like guilt sometimes as well, like feeling like they've failed or something. But it's so much more nuanced than that, where like your own mum's mental health. I think I probably pushed harder than maybe some people would said I should have. Yeah, really. Like I did get myself into a bit of a state over it. But I mean, life. I often go back to thinking about what life was like when we lived in caves and things, and like kind of what early man would have done, early woman would have done, and like to just help me think, well, what about like what's it instinctual here, like without all our like modern help and stuff. So it would have been very, very difficult. Like the mortality rates of babies was much higher. So obviously it wasn't easy, but fortunately we've got a lot of modern technology and medicine that can prop us up now. So
some things are a lot better, aren't they? As you say, some things like perhaps the support around us in sort of the Western world, we're kind of on our own a lot, and we don't often grow up around people often breastfeeding or seeing a lot of people breastfeeding around us to kind of show us what to do. So oftentimes we've not really seen it. We don't really know what it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, I think my mum did maybe up until... Well, she went on holiday when I was 6 months old, and I was left with my grandma, I think. So, I mean, the thought of that just blows my mind, because my daughter's nearly 2, and I would just have not...
No.
But times were different. So the kind of advice that was given... I mean, I feel like only recently things have started to change, but the advice that's been given to mums going back to, I don't know, Victorian times, further back than that, it's just bonkers. Like, I don't know how, like, this kind of leaving them to learn to self-soothe. Babies can't self-soothe.
Independent. Need to learn to be independent. A few months old, leave them to cry. Don't comfort them. Give them to someone else for a day when they're like a few months old.
Yeah.
Like, when they need that attachment figure, you know.
Definitely, and like they can smell you, can't they? Like they need just mum, and that's their
the
immediate. Like, not to say that dad can't do anything, because that's not true, but it's funny because you would never see like a baby gorilla just being put in a separate part of the forest, and whilst mum goes off to do whatever, would you? Like, it would just be weird.
The whole time out there.
Yeah. So I think the difficult bit for us is that, like, it's nature that there's something that really fascinating that I read actually about women in Tanzania who've had babies, and I love talking about this in my group. But so mum is not expected to do anything else other than look after baby, and then the rest of her immediate community look after her. So like at the moment, like the way that we live is, mum has a baby and goes home from hospital like,
on her own.
Yeah, and like
dad doesn't have a lot of maternity leave. How much do they get?
2 weeks. I think
2 weeks. Dad's back at work. Mum's on her own.
Then you're potentially looking after other children, like preparing meals, running a house, and it's just, who came up with that system? And there's also a lady who, Danny, the tongue tie midwife, you find her on Facebook. She came and joined our sessions to do she specialises that she's been a midwife for 10 years, I believe, but she specialises in feeding issues, and she's qualified to snip tongue ties as well. I hope I'm describing her accurately there, but a gorgeous human being. She came to do a session with us, and was talking about which country was it Latin America we were looking at here, where there is a practice of closing. So women are wrapped to help their bodies go back together when they've had a baby, which sounds like it could have been useful actually, because my body felt like it fell apart the first time. Not so much the second time, but yeah, just kind of this. It's interesting the cultural differences that we notice when a woman has had a baby, and how actually this country is not. It's done in other ways in other countries in a better way, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's something called a 40-day confinement, isn't there? 40-day postpartum confinement.
That's it.
Or the golden month.
Yes, which we've just been looking about, where so mum has 40 days to be say about the warm, nourishing food, and generally be looked after while she recovers and looks after baby, and 40 days. What's that? A month?
It'd be so nice, wouldn't it?
Yes.
You didn't have to do anything but look after your baby, and everyone else around you supported you and did all the housework and
no child.
fed you, and
Yeah.
you were looked after, and you didn't feel like you had to get back to normal life ASAP. I remember one time my ex-partner's friend was complaining that his partner who'd given birth, that she didn't get out of bed for 4 days. He thought that was awful.
Oh.
Just wanted to stay in bed with baby. Just giving birth.
Yeah.
It's like this thing that, women need to, get back to the gym like within a couple of weeks and all this other stuff,
Yeah, nobody
like
had maybe
they've been pregnant for 9 months and been through the birth, and births are all different, aren't they? But you've still given birth at the end of the day, even though if it was fairly straightforward, and your body's got to, would you say put itself back together? You've had so many physiological changes, haven't you? You're not just, the baby's just gone on top of everything. All your organs have shifted about. Your pelvis has relaxed and opened up, like you were talking about the closing. It's got to kind of come back. The pelvic bowl has to kind of come back together. All your abdominals have, been stretched. It's all, got to tighten up, and
it when you see
on top of looking after your tiny baby that all, that needs you basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So
constantly
being in bed for 4 days sounds like a really smart thing to do, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you push yourself to do things that you're not ready to do, then recovery takes longer. But yeah, when you see the pictures of what your organs have to do, how much they have to move to accommodate baby as baby grows, it's just mind blowing. I had a picture of that, like before my first was born, I had what are they called, affirmations stuck around my mirror, so when I'd get ready in the morning and I'd see these affirmations, but I also had a picture to remind me of what the inside of my body looked like whilst I was carrying this baby, and I was like, no wonder that I can't breathe properly, or I have heartburn all the time.
Exactly.
And, it's bonkers. So just to be able, even in the first kind of, for me anyway, like the first week of kind of what goes on where baby has been, it is like when your uterus is shrinking and things like that, it is it's a funny feeling.
Yeah, and you're probably in pain and trying to potentially establish breastfeeding or bottle feeding or whatever you're doing.
And if you've had a cesarean as well, kind of an area exactly. If you've had being very sensitive, major surgery, isn't it? Yeah,
if you had a cesarean, if you've had, I had I was induced. It took 5 days, ended up, the baby had turned back to back, wouldn't come out, ended up with a spinal block and an episiotomy, pretty everything apart from a cesarean. That that was really traumatic, and I was in so much pain after that, lost a lot of blood, was anemic, didn't know I was anemic, got an infection, so it was pretty traumatic time. So you can have all these other stuff going on top of the usual expected things,
Yeah,
and if you've got other children as well to look after, and then if your partner's only off for 2 weeks, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's no wonder that there's a lot of statistics out there about how.
Or you might not have a partner, as well.
Yeah, there's.
Or some other sort of support.
Yeah, it's not surprising that it does make people very ill. So, I guess there's a lot of unseen stuff, isn't there? Like
mental health.
When you see ladies out pushing the pram and with a tiny baby, we've always got to assume that you just never know what's going on. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't get talked about, really.
Yeah.
And I can understand why. Like, it's not easy to talk about it. But again, like with my group, the idea is that from very early on, if you want to come somewhere and just be like, oh, I'm struggling, like that's what it's there for. Or if you're not, you just want to get out the house or whatever.
And I feel like kind of the culture at the moment is not generally to talk about your problems as well, because you feel like you're going to be a burden. I don't know if you kind of feel like that sometimes. It's like you don't want to offload on people because you'd be too much, or it's that kind of cultural thing. I don't know if that's just in this country or...
Yeah, possibly. I think...
or the way we were brought up, kind of the generation
that
brought us up, we told to kind of stuff in, or because they couldn't regulate themselves, because when you were upset, that upset them, so then therefore you had to suppress your own feelings.
Yeah, stop it now.
Yeah, exactly. Stop crying, or...
Yeah. It is very much kind of a situation where I think maybe it is a cultural thing as well, but where we are sort of it's easy to have ideas about what we should do or what it should look like and this and the other. But I suppose I'm very lucky. That's one thing that has really worked for me in the last sort of 10 years or so, is kind of finding my people where it is safe to just say whatever.
Exactly.
Kind of like what I did when I arrived here today. Because it doesn't always feel comfortable. It doesn't always feel acceptable. But Becky is a very accepting company, and I don't know what I could say to Becky that she wouldn't be okay with.
Oh, that's lovely.
So yeah, if you find a tribe where you can be real, then that's worth its weight in gold, really.
I think that's so important, to be able to just be yourself and just be able to say things without worrying what the other person thinks, and like finding people around you that you can be like that with. It's super important.
Yeah, and just sounding stuff out, maybe. Like, is this weird? Or like, did this happen to you? Or have you ever heard of that before? I mean, that's kind of what's useful about the internet in a lot of ways, isn't it? Like, there's a lot of difficult things about the internet, but we can often find somebody who's experiencing something if we're thinking, well, what is this? There's a lot of rubbish out there, but if it means that we can find connections that we were struggling to find otherwise, then that can only be a good thing, can't it?
I definitely think if you're thinking something about something, probably someone else is thinking it as well.
Yeah.
You know, if you're worried about asking a question, it's like, oh, I'm not sure about this. Someone else in that group is probably thinking the same thing. So just trying to be open, isn't it, I think? Yeah. Yeah. And brave with that in a sense.
And if they end up thinking, oh, she's a bit weird, isn't she? Then that's information that you didn't have anyway.
Exactly.
Like, if that's not a person that you're going to connect with, then that's okay, isn't it?
Exactly, because you want to attract people for being you. You don't want to attract people for not being you.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with that then, aren't you?
Yeah, if you've put this kind of
veneer
this
facade on. And then you have to stay with the facade, don't you? Yeah. To keep those people in your kind of remit.
Or just shock them, and you're like, oh, what is this? Who is this person? I feel like I did that to one of my friends, actually. Like, I'm not going to give you all the gory details whilst we're recording anyway, but she was like, you doing what?
Really?
And it was really funny, because I was like, well, what kind of, like, what did you expect me to do? Or do you know what I mean? Like, what is it that I'm saying that's so shocking to you? We've been friends for years.
Oh, that's funny, isn't it?
And yeah, I just kind of, life had changed, and I just sort of did something that she didn't expect me to do, and she was like, what? It's like, yeah.
Surprise! This is a real me.
Well, it was then. I don't know. Maybe it is
what have
again.
You done, Sarah?
I'll tell you after.
Can't be that bad. Come on.
Yeah, but it was it's really liberating, actually, just to think, like, who am I trying to satisfy here? Because if it's not me, then what's the point?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, my children. That's mostly how.
Yeah, exactly. I used to listen to Matthew Hussey a lot. He's like a relationship expert.
Okay.
And yeah, he was saying a similar thing. If you had your one job in life is to look after the avatar, which is you, and make you happy. That is that is your job on this earth. And obviously, if you've got children, then obviously you have to look after them. But yeah, you're not here to satisfy anyone else.
No.
You know.
I like that.
Yeah.
Good name as well.
And yeah, another one was if you were given a baby and you had to do the best for this baby, and this baby was you, but you kind of put yourself outside of the perspective.
Yes.
Looking at yourself from the outside, what will you actually do with this person? That sometimes can help you to make good decisions, or view things from a different place, or kind of how would you treat this person? How would you respond to this person? for example, we all have like inner thoughts about ourselves sometimes, don't we? And sometimes they're not very nice, our internal voices. But no, what if your job was to look after this person? What actually would you say to them, or what would you say to your best friend? Sometimes that's a good way.
Definitely.
Would you talk to them like that? Well, answer's probably no a lot of the time. You wouldn't be calling them an idiot, would you? Sometimes I get that, oh, you did this, oh, I'm an idiot. No, I go, no, I'm not an idiot, actually. Have to kind of correct myself sometimes.
I've definitely found that with having children as well. Like, the way that I speak to myself that isn't very kind quite often. Or if I'm saying like, oh yeah, I messed up there or whatever, like, I suppose, yeah, I definitely do acknowledge that I made a mistake sometimes. So hopefully they can see that, like, yeah, we're not all perfect all the time. But he has kind of, my eldest has sort of inspired me to recognise when I have done something well and to say it. And then I hear him blowing his own horn a little bit about doing stuff that he's done well, which is really sweet. And then he said the other day, he was like, I love myself.
Oh, it's so cute.
And I was like, oh. I mean, and it sounds a bit kind of like the expression full of yourself, like as if that's a negative thing. So it was that funny with me at first, but I just feel like if he's having a start in life where he values himself, then that sounds overall positive, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's still very considerate of others.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking forward to what's going to come there. I'm sure I'll have messed him up in other ways, but like we all just do our best.
Yeah, we do our best, don't we? I think the main thing is like repair for me.
Yeah.
When I feel like I've maybe talked to my daughter not the way that I would have hoped to when I was regulated, I always try and go and repair it, apologise, or what can we do next time, or how can we do things differently? And it's all that, isn't it? Because no one's perfect, and we're humans, and that's what humans are like. Humans make mistakes, and the more learning experiences, it's about repair and trying to do better next time.
Yeah, that's
my
all
view.
But aim for,
but it's obviously coming through with the way you're bringing up your children. You start to see it filtering through when they get a bit older, the things that they start saying or saying to you or saying to themselves.
That's so sweet.
And I kind of think I've done a good job there. Sometimes I think, I could have done that better. But when Storm sometimes says things that I think are really kind or thoughtful, or the way she speaks to me, I think, I've obviously done something right.
Yeah, that's so lovely.
Which is nice.
She's a legend.
Yeah.
Definitely done a good job.
We do our best, don't we? That's all we can do.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know at the end of the day. And definitely, I was having a conversation with someone the other day about people having children, women having children later and sort of negative consequences of it. And, women are having, putting their careers ahead of children, and then they can't have children and things like that. And it's a very complex issue, but one of the things that I was thinking was, if I had children in my early 20s, there's no way I would have done as good a job as that I'm doing now. Not a chance. I would have parented completely differently. I was highly dysregulated in my early 20s for various reasons. But I've grown a lot since then. I think I'm definitely parenting better than I would have 20 years ago. There's no doubt about that. It's definitely one of the things that I would say.
I completely
with
agree.
more life experience and self-reflection, and
I feel the same.
What do you think?
Actually. Yeah, I just think there was a lot of stuff in my 20s and early 30s that I just hadn't quite. I knew that I wasn't. There was something that was a bit not right with myself, but I couldn't put my finger on what it was. And I remember doing. A friend of mine led me to this mindfulness course where. I thought, this sounds a bit woo, like, what? But it was after I got married, and I just thought, I had this feeling of like, is this it? Like, I was expecting things to be a bit more like, I don't know, fun.
Fulfilling?
It was really odd because it didn't feel like a positive thing, and it wasn't the marriage wasn't right anyway, but it was kind of a feeling of like, oh, okay, so when I wasn't married, it was like I was aiming at getting married, and that would be like a very fulfilling experience. But actually, it was a beautiful day, But then after that, I was like, oh,
Is that all
is that
there
it?
is?
Yeah.
That's it now.
It's a beautiful ring. Like, that was
Yeah.
amazing. Like, nice photos and stuff. But then, so I started the mindfulness course, and it just changed my life. It just made me think, like, who am I trying to please, kind of thing. So it really was a powerful, not as weird and as kind of woo as I thought it was going to be, but it kind of set me on a path to undo a lot of stuff that I realised wasn't doing me any good. So I think it set me up to be a more self-aware parent, because of the stuff that came after that. So I completely agree that if I'd have had my children earlier, I think I would have found it harder, but also I probably would have given them more issues.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
yeah,
about being unregulated and things like that. Like, I wouldn't have been as able to have been as, I don't know, free with things, or as I don't know if that's quite hard to explain, but I definitely think it's been a good thing having children older.
Yeah.
For me anyway. So yeah, I was 37 when I had my first, and then 42 second time.
Yeah.
Which 40 something having a baby feels crazy, but I'm just crazy now. So.
Well,
such a rebel, but then I think that's more common as well now, isn't it? People having babies in their 40s.
it is definitely.
It's not that surprising. So
Yeah.
so long as everybody's well, then what difference does it
Yeah,
make?
exactly. If the mother's healthy, and yeah, definitely. I was 39
Oh, okay, yeah.
after several years of trying in
Yeah,
IVF, and due to severe endometriosis. So
yeah.
yeah, but I guess we've got all these medical interventions in IVF now, haven't we? Which is allowing women who were struggling to have children, and therefore sometimes that comes a bit later.
Yeah, and I suppose having that time to explore what's gone on. Yeah, I mean, I listened to your experience, and I wasn't aware of what had been going on for you. Like, we weren't friends at that time, were we? But my God, I just can't, like, the amount of gaslighting and fobbing you off, and the amount of suffering that you had to go through.
Yeah, with endometriosis, that's a different story.
Yeah.
The endometriosis, but yeah, I did go through a lot. But I got my daughter in the end, which a lot of women don't. Very sadly. So I'm very, very lucky, and also everything that I've been through has led me to where I am now, and I feel like I'm able to understand people who have been in pain and have struggled with infertility and chronic pain and for a long time. That's kind of given me that empathy or kind of understanding for people's experiences who have suffered, and it's also made me value what I have now and feeling healthy now, and I'm not in that pain anymore, which they say when you're comparing things, you don't value things until you don't have them. Often, if you've been really poorly, then afterwards you're so thankful that you're not in that discomfort anymore. It's kind of like that for me, and I always look back and think, wow, I'm so glad I'm not in that pain. I was for years and years and years.
Yeah, you realise
so
how
it makes me
different
value
things can be.
my health. Put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for our lovely chat.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, how can people get in touch with you if they'd like to join your lovely supportive mums group?
So we're on Facebook and Instagram. We are Babies Boobs and Brains on Facebook. Instagram is the same, and the booking link is on there. If you've got any questions about anything, then I'd be happy to answer them if you want to pop me a message. But yeah, hopefully we're running for the foreseeable every Wednesday in Skipton.
Lovely. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I've loved it.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool.